Attorney Jaya here.
You show up just 5 minutes late to work, and your boss fires you on the spot.
Is that actually legal?
Or is there a limit to what employers are allowed to do? Because in employment law, what feels unfair is not always what is illegal. And what seems normal in the workplace can sometimes create legal problems. Let's break it down. Let me tell you about Michael. Michael was a reliable employee. 3 years on the job, no serious disciplinary issues. He showed up for work, did his job, followed instructions. The kind of employee most employers would be happy to have. Then, one morning, everything changed. There was heavy traffic caused by an accident on his route to work. Despite his best efforts, Michael arrived 5 minutes late. Not 30 minutes, not an hour, just 5 minutes. His supervisor noticed. There was no conversation, no warning, no opportunity to explain. And by the end of the day, Michael was fired. Now, most people hear that story and immediately think, that's unfair. And honestly, it does feel unfair. But here's where many employees make a mistake. In law, we don't
decide
start
cases
with
based on
feelings.
feelings.
We start
decide
with
based on
facts.
facts.
One of the biggest misunderstandings in the workplace is believing that if something feels wrong, it must automatically be illegal. But that isn't how employment law works. Something can be unfair and still be legal. Something can be harsh and still be legal. Something can be surprising and still be legal. The real question is not how the decision feels. The real question is whether the employer followed the rules. What matters is the employment contract, company policies, workplace rules, disciplinary procedures, and the labour laws that apply. Here's an important Attorney Jaya reality check. Not every bad workplace decision is a legal violation. Now, let's look at the other side. Can an employer ever legally fire someone for lateness?
Yes, in some situations, they can.
Imagine an employee who has been late repeatedly. They have received warnings, they have signed attendance policies, management has documented the problem, yet the lateness continues. At that point, the issue is no longer 5 minutes. The issue becomes a pattern. And in many workplaces, patterns matter. Employers are generally in a stronger position when they can show repeated misconduct rather than a single isolated mistake.
Michael,
now let's go
please
back to
come in.
Michael. No
Sit down.
warnings, no history of lateness, a good performance record. One delay caused by circumstances outside his control, then immediate termination. This is where the legal questions become more important.
Was the employer consistent? Did they follow their own policy? Because when employers skip process, legal problems begin.
Not every termination is illegal, but process matters. And fairness in the process often matters more than people realize. Now let me tell you something most employees learn too late. Workplaces run on documentation. Not memory, not assumptions, not verbal promises. Documentation. Attendance records, warning letters, emails, signed policies, performance reviews. When disputes arise, the side with the better records often has the stronger position. That's why Attorney Jaya always says, if it isn't documented, it becomes much harder to prove. Evidence matters, and evidence protects both employees and employers. So what should you do if something like this happens to you? First, stay calm. Don't let emotions take control. Second, ask for the reason in writing. Third, request copies of any policies, warnings, or documents that relate to the decision.
Things seem
Fourth,
normal.
review your employment contract carefully. And finally, seek legal advice if something doesn't seem right. Many employees lose opportunities to protect their rights, not because they were wrong, but because they reacted before understanding the situation. So let's return to
Can
the
your
original
boss
question.
legally fire you for being 5 minutes late?
The answer is, it depends. It depends on the contract. It depends on company policy. It depends on your history. And it depends on the process that was followed. A single late arrival is usually not enough on its own, but context changes everything. Because in employment law, 5 minutes is never just 5 minutes. It's
It
about
is about
pattern.
pattern,
It's about policy.
and proof.
And it's about proof. Now I want to hear from you. If you were the employer, would you fire someone for being 5 minutes late one time? Or would that be going too far?
Tell me what you think in the comments. And remember, Attorney Jaya, Workplace Law Explained.